So I wanted to do a comparison between the Axis and the Guide jacket. I got the Axis a week or two ago, and I decided to kind of put them through their paces, but yet out of their element as well. So I did kind of 3 main tests with them, and then I'll also talk about some of the little bit of differences between them. You can decide which one you want, and I'll let you know what I'm going to end up doing with mine as well. So the first thing we did was a temperature test to just see how insulating and how warm the jackets kept you. So it was about 4 degrees outside. I just put on a cotton t-shirt. My wife did pretty much the same. And we went for a walk. We walked down the road about 3/4 of a mile, switched jackets, and walked back. Now it's 4 degrees out, and I know that's definitely well below the temperature rating for these jackets. And with that in mind, we could not tell a difference between the two. So I was a little bummed at first, but then I really thought about it. I'm like, that's definitely way beyond the temperature rating, and so it's somewhat expected. But overall warmth between the two jackets, I did not notice a difference, and neither did my wife. The next test we did was to check wind and see how it was. So yesterday, we went snow skiing. So my son and I threw a jacket on him, and I wore one of the jackets. I had this on the exact same merino as my base, and then I had the 240, and then I had the Guide or the Axis jacket. My son, he just had a thin Columbia Omni-Heat thermal top, and then he had Under Armour, and then he wore the jackets. It was about 13 degrees out. It was not crazy windy. It was a great day for skiing. So we took a couple runs, swapped coats, took a couple runs. We both noticed a significant difference in the wind resistance in the Axis. As far as going down the hill, cranking some turns. The Guide, you kind of felt like you just sort of had a sweatshirt on, to me personally. It does not cut the wind very well. My son, he was like, wow, this Guide sucks. The Axis is way better. That's what he said. But you definitely could notice a significant difference in wind resistance. And then the next thing we did is I wanted to see how water resistant they were. So I fired up the shower, I threw the Guide on, turned on my timer, hopped in the shower. Had the water pretty much just beat on my shoulders because I know the Axis kind of has that waterproof panels in there. I wanted to see if those really made a difference or not. The Guide, I was wet in the shower in about 30 seconds. So that wasn't very long, and I wasn't overly surprised. I wear attack pants almost daily to work, and if it's real hot, I'll wear the to Barnes. And then I threw the Axis on. I got out of the shower after about 1.5 minutes to 1:40 seconds. I was still dry in my shoulders. The lower panel, I was starting to get wet in. That was starting to go through. But I mainly wanted to see how well that upper panel was. And that upper panel definitely blocks the water significantly. The other test I did was I just turned on the decibel meter on my phone. I stood at an even distance and just kind of rubbed the coat, just like this to kind of see how it was. There was not a significant difference in decibel reading. The Axis might have been 1 or 2 decibels louder. It's not going to make a difference in noise. So they're basically the same as far as noise goes. What am I going to do? I'm going to keep my Axis. I'm going to sell my Guide. To me, the wind resistance is huge. The only thing I really like about the Guide that I am going to miss is the pockets. The Guide has 2 front chest pockets, and it has a side pocket right in here on your arm. Are those pockets used all the time? No, but when you got to stash your phone or throw your wallet in or do something, you want to, put a tag, you just want to keep something on you all the time, or a quick little knife or whatever. I do like those pockets. So I am going to feel that I'm probably going to miss those pockets a little bit, but time will tell if I'll really miss them all that bad. The other big difference was the zippers. The front zipper here on the Guide was definitely a smaller zipper. The Axis was definitely a heavier duty or more of a waterproof, heavy duty zipper. But yeah, that's the big difference between them. The Axis definitely is improvement. The Guide has been the gold standard for soft shells for quite some time. I feel Kuiu definitely stepped it up when they brought in the Axis. It is an improvement. Is it worth selling your Guide to get the Axis? It just depends on how happy you are with the wind resistance of your Guide, because that's where you're really going to notice it, the wind and the water. If you're in where it's kind of wet a lot, the Axis is going to be really nice. As far as overall warmth, minus the wind resistance, they're about the same. I don't really see a big need to sell your Guide to buy the Axis, but since I have both, I think I'm going to keep the Axis. I'm going to get rid of the Guide, but I will feel I'm going to miss the pockets. If you're between the two, you don't have either one, you're not going to go wrong with either one. I lean a little bit towards the Axis. It is a little more pricey. The Guide is definitely cheaper, and so you just got to look at your budget and see what you want. But the wind resistance is a big deal, and I was disappointed with my Guide when I first got it as far as how it was in the wind. And so I'm definitely going to enjoy the Axis. I've got a set of Guide pants. I'm gonna probably get rid of those as well and pick up the Axis pants, just because I don't think the Guide pants are all that great for wind either. But that's kind of my 2 cents on it. Take as you will. Nobody's really done a real comparison between the two. Fit, as far as fit, I put them on back to back just before I hopped in the shower. I had just a sweatshirt on with a t-shirt underneath. Movement-wise, as far as the way it feels, I've heard some guys say it feels a little looser for layering. To me, I didn't notice it. If it is, it's not very significant. I was going to throw my down jacket on underneath to feel the difference, or my kenai, but I haven't done that yet. I haven't bothered. I have a feeling I'm not going to notice much of a difference between the two. Arms and things like that. I wear an extra large. I wear an extra large in all Kuiu upper stuff. That's how it fits for me. And that's it. I wanted to keep this around 5 minutes. We're at 6 minutes, so I'm out of here. Thanks.